Short round of applause to them.
Thank you, Jack.
No problem. So pricing strategies and ways to maximize your monetization and revenue goals. Very interesting topics. Before we start, I highly encourage you to listen carefully and prepare your questions, because we have a special prize from Unity for the best questions. We will pick it after the talk and give the cup and the cup top for the best question. So let's start.
And a prize for best answer as well.
Sure.
The heart from Unity.
We can split the prize, like cup for a question and the cup for So first one is current state of monetization in mobile products, and we want to take it first.
Yeah. So I wanted to make a small introduction that all monetization is in the end of the you're working with users. So working and talking to users starts way before asking user for money, and it starts on the first time they see your ad, or in the store where they see your app, and then they make the first decision to install it. Then, if it is free to play, then they do something else in the app, and only then they make the decision to buy. So working with user, and ecologically working with user, is the most important to bring them to the decision of giving money to the developers. And we also need to explain to the user what value he or she will get from the purchase, and then the monetization will be first ecological and not pissing off the clients, and second, it will give a go for long-lasting monetization strategies, because we see right now that the top games, are still with us for several years. So we should be changing towards more long-lasting strategies, not these scams not scams, but something you pay something one time, a small thing, you play 3 games, you delete it, but rather than switch towards subscriptions or small purchases inside the app, but several times and play longer. Does anyone want to help me here?
Yeah, this is a really great starter, but I simply should structure the ways that, basically monetization splits in different ways. So you talk mainly on apps. Also, we have advertisements like ads, reward video, interstitials, so we can also cover this. I think Linh has something to say regarding this.
Yeah, so hello everyone. I would like to give some input from my side about ad monetization side, because that's what I can cover the best here. So according to our data, we are working with a lot of gaming companies, and gaming is actually one of our top tier. We are seeing that video CPM is at least 5 or 6 times higher than display. Of course it makes sense, because video ads usually are more engaged with your users compared to display ads, and the CTR is usually like at least 15% higher compared to display ads as well. Video ads can be rewarded video or non-rewarded video, like interstitials can also be a very common type of video ads. And with video ads, your users can, for rewarded video, usually it's non-skippable video, so the users can pay more attention to your ads. However, comes back to the question of how to maximize and when to show ad in your game. I think that it's pretty much depends on how you design the game and how much you want to show the ads to your users. Here I would like to say that on the perspective of advertisers, we are seeing a lot of gaming studios that show the ads too frequent to the users, and that can be flagged as not good or not high quality kind of traffic to the advertisers who are spending budgets on your traffic. For example, if they see a lot of requests per users per IP in a short period of time, that can easily be flagged to brand advertisers as bot traffic, and that will affect a lot, that will decrease a lot the result of your CPM with networks, and that will reduce also the performance in terms of revenue that you can get with advertisers as well. Besides that, also the geos are very important. We all know that ads budget are mainly come from tier 1 countries, so if you want to maximize also the performance of your ads, for example, US tier 1, UK, Canada, or European tier 1 countries should be the markets that you focus instead of tier 3 countries, for example. Yeah, I think that we can continue from here.
Great. So yes, now we discussed already like what type of ads we have, like and the difference between in-apps not covered yet. So yeah, we have ad-based products on the market, in-app-based products. So let's talk about that. Main differences in development strategies and optimizing these investments. Who want to take? Sorry, what's the question? So difference between ads-based products and in-app-based products.
I think most of the games right now are on hybrid or trying to bring the hybrid monetization strategies because they're showing themselves much better and covering all types of players. So those who are willing to pay maybe give them subscription for not having ads and having on top of that some.
So yeah, basically we see more and more, maybe you also would add, see more and more games that combine all the inside. So they just have in-app monetization and ad monetization already from the very beginning on the early stages. And as they see the market, how market goes, big players go to this hybrid monetization. So even the small studios, like one studio of one man, they do the projects which already have two types of monetization and combination of them, and they prepare the mid-core games plans for the hyper-casual games, and you already see that stuff which we're talking about, that hybrid will come, it's already here, so yeah, it's more to this.
Yeah, I'll just add to everything which has been said, and probably I'll go back to your first question as well, like previously the state of monetization, right? Yes, it's true. State of monetization in general, I would say, is in a more interesting state right now versus like few years back. Few years back, we were always making a hard line. This is an IAP-based game. This is an ad-based game. As the friend said, like the world is blending right now, which is good, which is also bad in multiple ways. I see it this way right now. I 200% agree that the games are becoming more of a hybrid monetization games. But that's where also most of the developers get confused by themselves. They make bad decisions. They take it as an easy go. Okay, now let's put ads as well as IAP as well as subscription. Let's put everything and the game will monetize, right? No, that's not true. That exactly not how it works. The state of monetization in general can be very healthy. The games are still growing. I know there was a bit of concern when the whole basically IDFA thing started and what will happen, but eventually the ecosystem developed to benefit the games. There will be more disturbances coming in between, but as of now, there is a healthy state. There are more options, there are more combinations of IAP plus ads or ads plus IAP. I'm reversing it because it can be 80% IAP, 20% ad, or it can be 80% ads, 20% IAP, right? That state as a developer, you will have to be very, very clear in your day game design process that more options doesn't mean easy money. As simple as that. More options mean you have more work to do as a developer to build your options, use your options in a more strategic way. And as she said, like the first thing we'll have to think about is what is your audience type, what is your game type, and how you can create a journey which is long lasting to the players. The most important thing here is to engage the players. If you engage the players at different level, you will find an opportunity to put ads or IAP, but if you don't engage the players, right from day one you give them all the options, it's a mess. Probably one of the exception games can be saying that we have a success story working like this way, but majority of the games will fail if you just throw everything together at one point and you don't just think about the overall user journey, the player journey, you don't engage them well to the point where you start thinking about now what is a good point for them to see an ad or see an in-app purchase. That's something that you will have to look at. So going back to the original question, the state right now is hybrid monetization, but hybrid monetization is often misused in the product, and that's why there are unsuccessful stories than successful stories. It's a good one. Things are working, things are happening, but it all depends how you use it. So that's my take on this.
Great. But basically, I think there are some misconceptions on the market. When you actually should think about monetization, when you should start prepare something, because a lot of developers sometimes they do the product, do the game, and only after they start to think how we can monetize it.
So monetization, I think few years back probably this was a question when should you think. Now you need to think about monetization from the time you start thinking of game design. The moment you have the idea that I have a game, at that point you need to think how you're going to monetize it, right? And as simple as that, like there was a time when you launch a game, there would be like at least few organic installs and then you turn, right? In the current scenario, doesn't matter what game you have, right from day one you'll have to spend money on user acquisition. I don't know if anybody disagrees on that. Even the first install, besides your own pro, you will have to buy it. There's no first install, right? And when you're spending money, you will have to think right from day one, how am I getting it back, right? As simple as that. So there's no free tickets anymore, there's no free lunches anymore in the gaming world, like from a long time. The first install also you'll have to buy. And the moment you're thinking about buying, you'll have to think about how you're getting it back, right? So the day zero thought includes the monetization.
I would also add a bit that the structure of your game should very depend on the monetization strategy you choose, and that the monetization instruments, you told, are becoming more complicated, more sophisticated. You need to understand how would you tie that into your product way before you write down all the scripts and everything. You need to understand where will be at least which mechanics you want. You want the ads, you want the subscriptions, you want freemium, you want basically to make the paid app without any paid content inside. But you need to understand that in the beginning, because this will influence how you make the game, what mechanics you add there.
And as Ksenia said, that you need to think from the very beginning, but also if you can put something like the map and the future will be progress here, so just put this map, because for future it will be easier to implement this stuff. If it will be from the very beginning, the player will think that, oh, that will be the progression, so you can move there in this map and see the end results, and it's better than not putting anything inside of the game. So if you think about the strategy from the very beginning, it's good. If you have no resources to do it from the very beginning, put something that will show the player coming soon stuff, or the map of the progress. It also will increase how the players will react to the game. They will see, okay, I will just go to the game after 7 days not playing, maybe it will be something new, and it also very positively goes to the retention. So yeah, it's positive stuff.
Cool. And as we realized, the options of way to monetize app is too many at the moment. So what should be the bare minimum? What's the most important things to start with? Because majority of the developers, they want to make product and think about monetization later. So what's your opinion?
I'll take that. The first thing that you have to start off with, basically think about the engagement page. As simple as that, right? To come to monetization strategies, you as a developer will have to right from the beginning decide if you're making your game for ad monetization or you're making a game for IAP monetization. If you decide to do things in between, probably 99% you'll fail, right? The reason for that is, if you're making your game for ad monetization, you are targeting a different kind of audience. You're not targeting the audience which is naturally able to pay, right? then when you move into user acquisition, your targeting will be different, your user kind will be different, your user space will be very different, right? Your whole mix of the users will be who are good with watching ads, right? That's why even till now, I can basically count the games on fingers which have been successful with the hybrid monetization, where like it's 70% or 30%, like basically 60-40 ratio of ad versus IAP, right? Mostly it is like 90-10 kind of ratio. So it's very difficult if you're making a game which is ad monetization game and then you want to make it an IAP based, probably it will not work the same way. Because the user types are very different, completely different. So the first thing that you have to think about is, are you making a game for ad monetization or are you making a game for IAP monetization? If similarly, if you make a game for IAP monetization, the moment you try to introduce ads to that, which is working very well, but after a certain extent, it will start cannibalizing your IAP, or it will start cannibalizing basically your retention, because these users don't like ads, they want to pay and then play, right? So that cautious decision, when and how I want to use IAP, when and how I want to use basically ads, right from day one, you'll have to go with a very, very clear mindset. If you are not clear with your mindset, in between, you try to look, a bit of that I'll basically get it from IAP, a bit of that I'll get it from ads, it's probably is a recipe of failure. So you'll have to be very, very clear in your mind. That's my take on that, basically. Yeah.
Yes, but sometimes you still need to give the chance, because if game totally oriented on ad monetization, sometimes it really goes well also with in-app purchases. And there are one example which will be, we will have the case like in the end of this month, where we from the very beginning started to monetize the game from ads and just put the map coming soon with possible like in-app purchases, and now the game also feels good in in-app purchases. So you should like think that maybe also the game about the options to add the in-apps if you do totally on the ads. But if you do from the beginning on in-apps, and then it's maybe really harder to switch to ads. Because all the players and all the core auditory, they will be mainly concentrated on paying and playing, and then you just add in the rewarded videos and interstitials, and they're like, what? Why? Like I need to buy again the pass to not see these ads. And yeah, I think in case of switching from ad monetization to in-app monetization and adding more in-app monetization, it should be done. But if you from the beginning orienting on the in-apps, it will be harder. But still, there are merge cases which do orientation from in-apps to more to ads monetization, and it works because loyal players will play in this game also if there will be some rewarded videos or bundles.
But I think it's also depends on how you're adding ads. That you're not adding them for everyone. You're adding them for people who don't want to pay you yet, but as rewarded videos is a very good example, or maybe some even interactive ads where the user can play a small game inside your app and get a reward inside your app. This is normally gets much warmer welcome with games that originally are in apps.
Yeah, like Hearthstone, they integrated these battle passes really easily, and they will just give you like full pack of all this stuff which you can get. You don't want it to take it, you can play this similar game. It's like the iconic integration of it, but not everybody can do like Hearthstone, and there will be also some questions about 3 stores inside of this game.
About Hearthstone, it's my personal pain because they changed with change of monetization strategy. They changed the balance of the game, and this is actually, I'm a huge gamer myself, and this is the time I stopped playing Hearthstone, because when you start doing monetization, and basically I do understand developers, I do understand we all need money, we all need food, but when you start messing with the ways how it used to be with the balance in the game, because you want people to pay for something, it may ruin the player's base.
we see cases that they switch like from in-app purchase, and they start doing some optimization with ads, adding some interstitials, some rewarded video, but it's more common than doing vibers, like having your app for free users who do not pay for your games but start implementing something. I think it's not possible to do one thing from another, like from immediately. So it's like Priyank said, it's good it's better if you have everything clear in mind from the day one, because it would directly affect the way that you design the game. But if you have something like that in the roadmap, that you start implementing new things, introduce new offers or new ways of optimizing for your users, then you should also think about like what kind of value that you add for your users when you're implementing ads, or you want to introduce some in-app purchase offers for them.
So as you understand, it's possible to pivot from like ad-based model to an app one, but the question is, what you can sell for this free type of users? Like, what's the real buy?
Yeah, I mean, you can switch, but you cannot switch just by like that. You'll have to make fundamental changes in your game, basically, when you have to switch. She gave a very, very good example of Hearthstone, right? And that's what my point was. Like, there are different kind of users. People who like ads and people like in-app purchase, right? If you switch, it's not the same users. In all of this, rewarded videos are somewhere like in a very sweet spot, because if the game is designed for in-app purchases, that can always very well use rewarded videos, right? Now, how much that will be a value addition, how much will be a cannibalization, that is on the developers and the balance that you find out, right? If you start 100% substituting IAP purchase with rewarded videos, probably you'll not win. If you have something added value, you put rewarded videos, it works perfect. That's where basically the hybrid monetization, when we say, it comes beautifully from that space. Like IAP app with a rewarded video plays in a very beautiful manner that gives value addition to the players. That they cannot, either they find it, but they see more value in playing that one or two more ads. Beautiful, right? Similarly, if you have an IAP based app and then you're already starting to play rewarded videos, and then you start segmenting, right? Player segmenting that, okay, there are users, 2, 3, 4% users who paid, there are users who are engaged with rewarded video. Probably 100% of your audience will be engaged with reward video, right? And after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, depending upon your threshold, then you find users who are like no value users. But they're still in the game, they're still liking the game, they are not paying. Probably after 1 month, they are not likely to pay at all, they are non-payer types. You start throwing the in-app, basically the interstitial ads and banner ads and whatnot. But again, the game has to be of a different type. that's the point, right? The game cannot be of using everything together at one place at the same time. You'll have to start with a clear thought. In between, you'll have to add rewarded video in a very basically meaningful way. After that, you will start segmenting the players. Use your data science to make a decision. Which users are good enough, basically good users, to start throwing ads for additional revenue, right? That's how it works beautifully for the successful games.
Okay, so we covered the advertisement in apps. I remember like 3-4 years ago there was a huge hype regarding subscription model. Now it's probably died after some store changes, so maybe someone has input on this.
Depends how you see it, right? The subscription model works very well in apps, Tinder, amazing, right? But I wouldn't say subscription model has died. Subscription model has changed its face. Most of the good IAP-based games, they are utilizing a minor version of subscription model in the form of battle passes, right? It is essentially a subscription, not the typical subscription, but more interactive, more playful, more gamified subscription model. So I would say it's died. It is working very beautifully in the games, successful games. Again, it all comes like, if it is fitting into your ecosystem, if players start seeing, they start caring about it, they get engaged to it, it is still working very well. That's my opinion.
I wanted to ask everybody over here. Some years ago, it was that Battle Pass is something that comes once a year or once 3 months, half a year, something like that. And it was something that all the users were waiting for. There was advertisement that, oh, it will come in a year, and it would be like a tournament after whatever. And right now I see that more and more games have those battle passes. Just every month they have a new battle pass, you buy it or you don't, and you interact with it. But it is basically right now more like subscription versus the event you want to pay. Don't we see the drop in the interest because of that?
Indeed, it will be, right? Because when something has become regular, it will lose interest. Again, I see it as it's an economic decision, right? Demand and supply. There will be some users, they will find it's disengaged with this. There will be always new users who are coming into the system, right? Because if you see any of the games, the weightage of new users and the weightage of old users, right? Probably some of your old users got disengaged with that. But every single day you're also buying the new users. For them, this is a new thing, right? I'm very sure games who have made battle passes as a persistent feature in the game, at some point of time they have made a test around that up to what level it is making sense, up to what level it's not making sense, right? So I see it like, yes, I agree with you, it has lost, it may have been losing its interest for some users who have been using it, but there are always new users, and ultimately it's the balance of demand and supply. If there are still players buying it, and that buy is generating additional amount of revenue, why not? Right.
Still, Hearthstone survived after changing the monetization.
That's because it's not because of the monetization model. It's because the game is deep. The game is like engaging from day one. It has die-hard fan following, right?
Yes.
So it's a game that survives.
Yeah, the game survived. But when you change meta, when you change the characters that you need every month, sorry, it's personal.
Are you still playing?
No, I stopped when they started doing that every month comes new meta and you're just like, I just built my deck, I want to play it, and it's not working anymore.
I can agree to that. Like, if there is a loyalty to a certain product, especially emotional loyalty to a certain product, and if that product changes to its core, it's a basically heartbreak.
Yes.
I was following one game, it's a very good example of, there was another example of, there was a very classic solitaire game from, now it is part of Playcus, Grand Harvest. It was a beautiful, no-nonsense game, you enjoy the journey, and that was generating amazing amount of revenue. It's a case study. I've been following that game from throughout its life cycle. And of course, one big company bought it, and they started lots of live ops, lots of events, lots of pop-ups and all of that. From that time I stopped playing that game basically. I don't feel there is any other game in the market. That game that I used to like it because it was simple, it was clean, it was very meaningful. I was still spending money because the game to its core was very engaging to me. But then a big company came and then they started becoming basically, no, let's put more and more monetization model. Now there are ads, now there are pop-ups, now there are battle passes. Everything in this world is now in that game. That time, no, this game is now lost its simplicity. Sometimes a simple, clean user journey can also do very well. If the game is engaging, if the game is compulsive, if players like it, for example, again, Hearthstone is a very, very good example. It has a loyal user base. It's a very loyal user base. It's a habit from like many, many years. And the game used to be far more engaging, simple. It was beautiful to play. Now it is more of a operational activity game, right? For the loyal users, it's a heartbreak, right? I don't like it anymore. But again, there will be users who start disliking it, they will stop playing it, but there will still be users who will continue to play it. Another example I'll give you, basically, coming from social casino games. Always there is a debate about when you are monetizing, you are throwing lots of pop-ups to the players in the beginning, like sometimes 3, 4, 5, 8. If you go to like big companies, social casino games, there are up to 8 pop-ups at the same time. Offers after offers after offers after offers. There's always a debate, are basically these pop-ups good or bad? And multiple A/B tests done. Every single user comment that you will see on the App Store is like, this game is crap because there are too many pop-ups. But still, the players are still playing it. They're still logging in, they're closing the pop-up one after each, but they're not killing the game after that. The reason for that is because they know, even if I go to the next game, they will also be showing me the same amount of pop-ups. So basically, it doesn't change my life anyway, right? So these are the strategies that have been proven. Yes, players don't like it, but it still has a more engagement through that. They're still clicking, they still generate more buy-ins, these players still, retention is not affected. That goes back to the question of battle passes. Like now, battle passes have become like more of a habit. If the players are still buying it, It works.
But for the casinos, it works until there is one first app that is without one-ups. If somebody will do
I'm still looking for that app.
yeah,
Maybe
it will be.
it will be because, like, about the subscription, we had the game which was from the very beginning oriented to the subscription, and right now it's like have 500,000 of downloads, and it's feeling pretty good just because of subscriptions. It's like groove beats. You creating the beats and you paying for not receiving the ads.
My brother is playing it.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
About subscription, you were asking, right? One thing, at least in my opinion, that absolutely doesn't work is an ad-based game trying to sell a subscription to get rid of the ads, basically. I haven't actually, so far in my
This
journey,
was the example.
So that's how our reacts
it's
work.
working.
It's concentrated to special auditory, so it's like to the guys who just want to create the beats and don't look to the ads. And a lot of these guys just like go into the game for 30 minutes, create some beat, go out of the game, and then come back in a week. And they still don't want to see the ads. And it's
and
pretty
they're paying for the subscription to
Yeah.
basically get rid of the ads. Especially,
And sometimes and also about the hairstyle, because it's also there is 3 games already inside of this game. So they just so deep that they created 3 games inside of their own game. And there is basic model, there is like the game which they took from the World of Warcraft, this companion stuff with the tables which you give the orders, blah blah blah. Somebody want to order his companions to crush this giant, and they doing it. And it's also like one of factors why Hearthstone still is so interesting, because they just created 3 games inside of this game and the 4 game already, and they have the 4 stores for every of this sub game inside of this game. And that's maybe one of also the key to success. If you try all the auditory, just create another game inside of your game. So it will engage new one and refresh the old one, because if you don't go there, so maybe your brother and his 5 friends will go there, and he will ask you, can you give me please your card? I can buy some like Khadgar there and be the king of the Griffons. So that's works.
It works. It just basically was my heartbreak because I was a huge fan. But about being in top for a long time, you have to create new value. You have to create new mechanics, and you have to introduce new ways of engaging users in the same app, in the same game.
So
you
that-
cannot stick with one mechanics that, even if it is revolutionary, and even if you created it first in the market, and even if you are top 1 for several months, because of that, you already have to think about the next mechanic to introduce, because one mechanic will not kill people.
I think that's exactly what is happening in most of the successful IAP-based games, I would say. In fact, up to a certain extent, even in the ad-based game, including in Tripledot. I think Tripledot's success story is also adding new engagement mechanics within the existing evergreen games, right? If you look at the space, now the new engagement model where the monetization has given like up to 10 to 35, 40% jump to, say, lots of big games. There used to be a live ops system where there were events where people are asking like play X number of games, do this and that. Now it has converted into mini games based events, right? So most of the puzzle games, including Toon Blast and all of that, they are every 3-4 week cycle, a month cycle, they are launching a mini game, which is connected to, basically you don't have to play the mini game as a mini game, but it is connected to your core game. So you have to play more of your core game to participate into the mini game, and when you complete the mini game, there's a second way of reward, right? That drives engagement, and because the engagement is driving, at the core of the games, there is a consumption, right? Where's the consumption in the form of power plays, whether the consumption in the form of say the chest and the gacha, but that mini game event is asking you to play more core game, and because you're playing more core game, you're consuming basically the consumable inventory more, and because you're consuming more, you're paying more eventually, right? So that exactly, and every 3-4 weeks, if there is a new mini game in the system, which is refreshing of the whole same game basically. So technically you're playing the core game, but you're also participating in something which is fresh in the content, something which is new in the content that keeps you engaged. So that's the new way of improving on monetization. the aggressive you are, the more innovative you are with the content life cycle, you're basically a winner there. Does it make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, and also about the events, you should do it like more frequently because you can also test the new features inside of these events. And there is one game about the green guys who mine in the gold, and they do events like all the time, 2 days events, like 3 days event, and they test in the key features. Like there was the introduction of dynamite. It was not in core gameplay, but they saw from the numbers of the events that it works good. They added to the main gameplay, and you engage the players to be in these events. And also like in Clash of Clans, the clan wars goes for 2 days, not like 1 day. You should be in game for 2 days, like and it's like they just grabbing you and you negate it to your clan mates. It's like your family, so it's pretty on the edge of like psychology and the feelings of the players, feelings of the unity, and yeah.
Actually, while we're speaking about engagement, the monetization things can also be used as engagement. So battle passes, because people buy something for a long time, for a month, for example, and they will get something upon usage of your game. It will keep them more engaged because they paid. And second thing, it is a beautiful way of making the rewarded ads every 3 hours for every so restocking the rewarded ads. The rewarded ads, you can basically bring people back and boost your retention, saying that you can watch the video once per hour and get something. So people will want to maximize their free whatever they're getting, so they will be coming to you every time. And of course, please introduce push notifications to say, okay, you can watch it again. So it's basically a person is voluntarily boosting your attention and also boosting your revenue.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Very, very valid.
Yeah, great. So as we enter like ways to improve engagement and monetization, do you see what would be the next steps? Is there new ad formats? Is there new ways to sell in apps? Do you see something that can disrupt the industry in like recent time?
I think there will always be space for the new type of ad formats to appear. It's it's like the way that the market evolves, then you will find out different way or more creative way to improve the engagement of your users through ads. Of course, it has to be not intrusive or annoying type of ads for your users, but at the same time, like giving value to users through new type of formats, except rewarded video ads that we always like. It's been there forever, so I think that always there will be new type of format appearing. Today I talked to Jakub about playable ads. We heard more and more about in-game ads as well, interactive ads. So there will be always new types appearing.
And like previously there was the banners, which was go play our game by showing just the picture of the game. Now it's not working, and it switched more to the every game should have the video to engage it, and like depending on genre it should be different time of the video which you show, and different genres looking for different time of this. So you should put the essence of all what you want to show, why they want to play your game, not the game which they already playing, into this small amount of time which you have. And like for different genre it should be calculated, so it's become pretty, it was always mass work, but now it's also into this. And the main interesting thing that now almost everybody combined all the monetization possible inside of the game from the very beginning to see how the game will be, if there will be in-apps, if there will be already interstitials, reward videos, banners, and all the possible way to monetize the player from the very beginning. And then they launched the game without one of these, and the players like, wow, nice. I was playing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's next or not, but there are a few fundamentals. Right? Like any company is working on that, they need to do a lot of data science here. Optimizing ads, performance. Of course, there also. I mean, as they mentioned, there will also always be new tools. Like I was hearing either Google launched something which is collapsible banners, and they also launched something which is rewarded interstitials. So there are always new tools. So of course, try to make, and native ads, which is something I always feel that is underutilized right now in the industry. Not everybody is using it to the full potential. Ad monetization, particularly, even ad monetization is a balance of quantity, quality, and right timing, right? And that's where the games will have to keep finding their balance. Where is the right balance? Where is the right timing to show an ad? And what is the right quantity, right? Because I heard a lot of, from time to time, developers say that, oh, we want to increase the number of impressions. Of course, increasing number of impressions per game session per day is important, but up to a certain point. Beyond that point, it is not productive. When I say not productive, because there's a phenomenon of that. The more the impressions that you have, then probably it also start growing your eCPMs. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Higher number of impressions can also reduce the eCPMs. Ultimately, you're not gaining beyond certain points. So there is economies of scale, and beyond that point, you stop growing. So you need to find out how many impressions are good, right? Because every additional impression can also have some negative impact on your retention. So what is that sweet spot? What is that sweet balance? What is the right timing? Is something that you will have to always keep finding the balance on that. That's one. Number two, I would also suggest people to try a lot of tests around the new user journey of the players, right? Don't try to throw all the ads at the same time right from the beginning. Try some banner ads in the beginning versus after a week later, right? Interstitial from day one versus after a day later, right? Try those kind of combinations because every game is different, every player type is different, genre is different. What are you getting in your game it may not be the same as what you're getting from the other apps or some other people, right? So the point here is something which is working in game XYZ may not be working exactly the same in the same proportion, the same idea in your app. So try using a lot of data on tool. Try using a lot of balancing stuff. Try to find out your own ways of finding that right balance. And of course, when the new tools are available, try making use of the new tools, but in a productive manner. Just because a new tool is available doesn't mean it's easy additional money. Right? That's.
As you mentioned previously, it should be like calculated, and it's extra work for the team all the time. And the team which like designed all this stuff from the beginning, when the amount of players grows and skyrocketing, they like, what should we do with this? We're planning like for a smaller amount of people. And
there's always more work. Every additional thing is more work, so we'll have to do always more work.
We almost came to the end of our time, so is it? Almost, yeah. So is there any questions in the audience? I want to just realize no questions yet, so let's talk more. I have a few more points to discuss. So yeah, we discussed a lot about strategy. But let's talk about do's and don'ts, like some postmortem, some fail cases, and in general, like what is paying users' behavior, what they expect, how to motivate them pay more or pay in general.
Just to create, as you mentioned previously, to create the interest in gameplay and engage in game, it's like a basis of all game dev. If the game is not interesting, nobody will watch ads and play, and it's a key feature, but I will add more. It's just quick.
Do's. I would say do's as you say, right? Like in the beginning of the life cycle of a product, focus on the game. If the game survives, monetization will happen. Right? Don'ts, right from the beginning, don't run behind ROAS and ROI and all that stuff. That is something for the later time, right? In the beginning of the life cycle of the product, focus on retention, focus on engagement. And when I say retention, again, this can be very subjective to me. I've done this test multiple times. In my opinion, focus on a long-term retention tail. Even if your early retention is not as good as say 50%, 40% on day one, right? It is still okay. Focus on the stickiness of your product. If your day one retention is say, even if it is 30%, don't get disappointed by that. Follow the journey. If day 1 to day 3 retention or day 1 to day 7 retention ratios, if they are still healthy, when I say healthy, it is still above 50%, 60% in the velocity. You still have a workable game. So focus on the velocity having an amazing day one retention, but the game dies after 7 days is not going to be helpful. So focus on the long-term retention first. In order to do that, because a lot of developers make a mistake, right? Okay, day one retention amazing, let's throw a lot of basically ads and start everything together. By the time day 7 comes, the game is almost dead. Or by day 30, there's no more user left. That's a very hyper-casual way. Now even hyper-casual are finding it difficult to basically survive because of that, and they are, most of them, if my knowledge is correct, they're trying to build long-term journeys. They are trying to get into games which can survive more longer, right? Because right now, if you start chasing ROIs from day 1, day 7, like it's really very difficult to build a game. Focus on 1 month, 2 month down the line to get this money back versus in a very early life cycle. The early life cycle, focus on retention, engagement. If you maintain this, if you make this work, you will find a number of ways to basically to monetize the same users who are staying in the system. If they go away, you just lost your money right there, right? So that's my philosophy of building the game. So that's a don't and that's a do for me.
I also want to add to Priyank that about these don'ts, it's also do not concentrate on retention. If it's lower even than 30, it can be worked with. And like if the CPI like 0.8 is not also the end of the game, it can be even $1, but the playtime of the game will be like 25 minutes. And like it's also can be managed from this playtime to improve the other metrics. It's how we do. Like from the perspective, if the game had like CPI 80 cents and the retention 25%, but still it have 25 minutes of playtime, we can work with this game and create the example of how to boost this almost twice the numbers and decrease the CPI and increase the retention, and the playtime still maintains like 20 minutes. It's amazing what you can do with engaged players, of how the players want to play this game, but you still have something missing, and it's easier to add missing stuff when you have players who are willing to play for a long time because they are like interested in the playing itself, and you see it from the numbers almost from the very beginning.
So you're coming from publishing, right?
Yeah.
From I may ask, can I ask a question to him?
Sure.
How do you set, what kind of qualification criteria do you set when you are basically looking for publishing?
For developers to engage in the publish?
Yeah, basically when somebody reaches to you that I have a game, I want to publish with you, what is the qualification criteria that you set for a successful publishing deal? And do you set some benchmark, do you set some retention number? What's the goal that you set for the public, basically developers?
It depends on the game because in different genre we have different experiences, but normally if you have around like retention around 25+%, CPI around 90 cents and playtime more than 20 minutes, we can work with that because we have a automatization system which can do magic, and also then we can take this game to improve it and to add it and increase these retentions, lower the CPIs with the different creatives, with the different colors inside of the game. So it's the beginning point to work, but then when we start work, we change sometimes a lot, sometimes almost nothing, but just by adding some extra features, we can boost this game to the numbers. And
do you also set any monetization goals in the beginning?
No, we just look into the, like what exactly?
Like basically if somebody comes to you, okay, I have a game, and you start spending money on the user acquisition, right? Do you set some goal? No, I'm looking for a success criteria of this game is like after day 7, I want to get 20% ROAS. Example, right? Do you set that kind of goals, or do you remain only in the engagement and the retention part?
Yeah, from the beginning of the testing, we add all monetization to the game to see how the player will react on this. And if we will see that the game, we have approximation which gives us opportunity to see in 180 days how it will be and what ROAS will be there. So we see from using this testing, after 3 days we have approximation up to 180 days, and yeah, so we don't give like exact KPIs to we have this, but we see it, and after the test we can talk about it and see that we can we can see from this game it will reach these numbers. If you will do the changes, it can reach different numbers, and yes, so no goals from the beginning, but after the test we can see it and ask more direct questions.
Yeah, great. So, is there any questions in the audience? Because if not, I will bring this cup to back to my home. So, okay, yeah, you can go.
Okay.
You can.
I'm curious, if we have a game with ads and we have remove ads, so if we put the price $1 to remove ads or $10 for remove ads, what will be the differences? If the player play more, like more play, or the revenue from the ads will be more valuable?
The difference will be your CPI.
Yeah, I know.
Right. What are you buying for? Like if you buy a user for $5, you ask them to remove the ads for $1, it doesn't make sense, right?
But more players will probably pay $1.
But look, if for example, if you buy a user in $1, right? 100 users you buy, you spend $100, and you ask all of them to basically pay $1 to get rid of the apps. You're not making any money, right? So it's a demand and supply again, as simple as
It's
that.
probably $1 a month, not $1 forever.
I mean, I can debate that. How do you know that this player will remain in your system after 1 month?
Yeah.
So my question goes like, it's paying the bigger price is more valuable or paying the lower price?
No,
More
look.
players or less players?
It
This is a
depends
very
on your
interesting-
audience.
Yeah. But
So why they talking?
It's basically it depends on your audience. So how much your audience is willing to spend, how many ads is there. If there is too much ads, maybe they're willing to spend more. Or if the ads are very interesting and interactive, maybe they don't mind it. And you need to understand your audience in America and in Latin America. People will be able to spend different amount of money for the same thing, not because the value is different, but because they have different money in the beginning. So target your audience, understand how much potentially money they have for that. Second of all, understand what will give you more money, ads, with amount of ads that you have right now, or basically saying $5 subscription. Again, subscription or one-time payment. Also, it's basically calculation with your retention rate. It's basically if the average person spends in your app 2 years, then okay, you may do that. You have that person looking for ads, looking ads for 2 years. If it is 1 month, it's different numbers. So it is big Google spreadsheet with all the numbers, and it will give you an answer.
it's a pricing question, right? Pricing is in any economic world, pricing is always a demand and supply thing, right? It has multiple factors. Goes back to what is your estimated LTV, right? And estimated LTV based on your current ad user journey, how long the user survive, and at the end of the user life cycle, what is your estimated basically value you're grabbing, right? Now, based on that, you make a decision where you want to make that money in day one, or you want to make that money. Maybe you will be getting more money after the ads journey, right? Or maybe you'll get more money. That's a multiple combination, and she, as she mentioned, right? Like this is where the pricing per country, pricing per geo makes a lot of difference, makes a lot of sense. Again, in my personal experiences, this model hasn't worked. As my friend was saying, that it has worked for him. I would say, like, if you really want to basically make a game where you want to ask the players to pay for ads, then I would say make your game differently so the players are liking to play the game, or they are moving to like more deeper content to pay for it, right? Versus removing the ads. I personally don't understand this remove the ads model.
Yeah, and also about the CPI, Priyank is totally true. Saying that the CPI is higher than you ask to pay, it's worthless, and maybe it should be like 2 times more than the CPI, at least, because like $1 not all the time it gives more value if you give like $10 subscription, $9.99, and the player will like with the battle pass feel that he need to like play this money what he spent it already, and that's also how the battle passes work. They just give you extra work for which you already need to pay, and you're like, oh no, I need to farm this stuff. Why? Because I paid, so I go. It's like with a gym, also you just skip it or go once a year, or you just go in every time, and it's
Just people who don't know economics and sunk, what do you call the sunk spends? Sunk Yeah, the money you spend and you just basically forget about it. Sunk. I forgot the term.
Yeah.
Sunk something. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, in the nutshell, there's no one answer to your question. Basically, there's no ready-made answer to this question. It's you'll have to start building your own curves and find where users are able to pay, how long they're showing the willingness to pay, and beyond that time they're not willing to pay, and then what is the sweet spot? Even if you find a sweet spot, is that sweet spot meaningful for you or not? Simple as that. There's no ready-made answer for this question.
Yeah, but basically try 2 times the amount more than CPI, and like just for you for future you can buy more users optimized for buying a bit higher this subscription. But because if you put it like $1 and then you want to switch it to $10, nobody will like why? And if you like put $9.99 and then go for you discount like $7.50, like yeah, okay, I do it. So.
Geolocation, I think, is important. Somebody from India were willing to pay different amount compared to people in US, for example. So yeah, I think it's important to look into retention rate, and also I think average revenue per user will give you an idea about what the price.
India will be the last country to pay for ads. Basically, removing of the ads. We like watching ads.
Only free ads.
yeah, we like watching ads. We are happy with the ads.
You can bombard Indian users as much as you want.
Exactly.
Is there games that target more ads to certain geos and less ads to another geos? Is that a strategy for monetizing?
Definitely. Oh, yeah, why not? Like, I mean, so again,
is it working like that somewhere, or just the
working or not? I mean, again, I haven't done this kind of test because my attention was mostly to the US and in the West. But I've heard this phenomenon like multiple times. People increase the ad velocity and intensity in India, countries like India, or like Asian countries, or even like Middle Eastern countries versus what they show it in, because in these countries people don't mind watching ads. That's absolutely fine for them, right? As long as they don't have to pay, they're happy.
And also the kids, they have a big different approach to this. They do not see the ads as a problem inside of the games, and they just sometimes play and then ads, okay. They don't pay attention, they don't feel like, oh, I'm angry about it. No, they just like, okay.
They're less picky.
Yeah.
For the whole their lives, it's all they see, so...
Okay, and officially we're out of time, so it was a pleasure talking with all of you.
May I have one more question?
Yeah, sure. I think we started...
That'll be unofficial.
Yeah, this is unofficial, but I gotta try to say it loud. The first thing, thank you so much for this conversation. I enjoyed it a lot. I have a rather practical question. So we all see what AI... Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, maybe.
If it's a practical question.
Practical question. We all see how AI recently disrupted the whole economy, right? So everybody's saying that, hey guys, AI is like a new internet revolution, and that's true. It's already here. We see what ChatGPT capabilities are. We see what the Midjourney capabilities are, and so on and so forth. So, and when we're saying about building pricing strategies, when we say about selecting different monetization strategies, it's all about analysis, it's all about data, it's all about cracking the numbers. And the biggest problem of why, reason why AI revolution came just now, because people received enough data to feed for all those ML models and to bring valuable insights. So the question is, you guys sit on data, right? You analyze data, you are looking for different insights and what's gonna make you a billionaire, what's gonna make your client a millionaire or whatever. So do you have any idea or a wish list of AI tools that are gonna help you in doing your daily jobs? That's my question. Thank you.
If you ask about the wish list, I would like to have just a command to ChatGPT, develop the game economy, and then that's done. But that's not probably how it will work. But I am anticipating, we are anticipating rather, that there'll be a lot of tools that we'll be able to use. But even before that, like AI is a broader term. I'll take a step back. We haven't even used machine learning to the level yet in majority of the companies to basically make a better model of right pricing, to distribution of the ads and all that stuff, right? So the first step is basically most of the company needs to reach to that level to start using the machine learning models basically to start using it. Because when it comes to AI particularly, right, as we were all talking about, like the data changes, the data is very different from companies to companies, product to product. Like the AI tool and the general AI tools, they need to have like multiple models of data and in their own learning to basically find out what is the right value, what is the right value. Companies don't share the data. So where is the learning coming from, right? But still there are a lot of use cases evolving from machine learning to moving to AI. Even, for example, I was talking to a friend here, and they are building machine learning tool for optimizing the waterfalls. Unfortunately, waterfall will be dead in the next 6 to 8 months, but there are tools like that. So right now I'm anticipating there should be a very interesting tool in balancing the game economies once you put the learning into the AI tools to predict the future values, to predict basically, but I don't know if it will be AI needed. There's a lot of prediction modeling right away, it's available. So the tools, how the tools will develop, I'm looking forward to. As of now, it can be done internally as well.
Yeah, are you like in a waiting mode or you're already in a tough?
I'm in a waiting mode, right?
Waiting mode,
right? Mostly in a waiting mode. I mean, besides the economic development, the AI is already being used in a broader way in the gaming industry. For example, art creation work, for example, in a lot of product management tool building work, right? It's already in use. It is already happening. Particularly, the biggest use case is the art creation. A lot of companies I know, they have switched from manual art creation to AI-based art creation, which is fantastic, right? And most such tools are coming. So there is some things in use, there are some things in waiting. You're working on it.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's pick the best question, or we just can split the prize.
Best answer.
You want to cut, yeah?
Of course.
Maybe let's split.
Yeah, let's split.
Let's settle it outside.
So, I guess it's free.